Major funding for these broadcasts has been provided by grants from New York Community Bank, Capital One Bank, Eastern Consolidated, M&T Bank, Sterling National Bank, Meridian Capital Group, Customers Bank, Aerial Property Advisors, Dime Community Bank, Perfect Building Maintenance. Additional funding has been provided by AKA Hotels Corman Communities, AmTrust Title Insurance Company, AVR Realty Company, Avison Young, Bank of America, Merrill Lynch, Bank Leumi USA, Briarwood Organization, CBRE, Chase Commercial Term Lending, Chase Mortgage Lending, JP Morgan Chase, Citizens Bank, Cohen Equities, Colliers International NYC, Collins Building Services, Connect One Bank, CPEX Real Estate Services, Douglaston Development, Levine Builders, Flushing Bank, Friedman LLP, Handler Real Estate Organization, Handro Properties, Hodges Ward Elliott, Inc., Investors Bank, James D. Kuhn Real Estate Center at Syracuse University, Kilroy Architectural Windows, Madison Realty Capital, Matone Group, Mercantile Bank, New Banks, Newmark Knight Frank, Optimum Window Manufacturing Corp., People's United Bank, Pulcinelli, Rockefeller Group, Rosewood Realty Services, SJP Properties, Stonehenge Partners, TD Bank, Terra CRG, the Knackle Group at Cushman & Wakefield, the Meringoff Family Foundation, the Moynihan Group, and these friends.
Vienna, a prisoner of war camp, potentially the concentration camp, coming to America, Ellis Island, Washington Heights, Forest Hills, Regal Park Jewish Center, a camp, Queens College, NYU, relocation, consulting, cross-border, biking. Who is this crazy man? It's my friend today, Mike Schell. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for being here, Michael.
So tell me the story about your parents, because it's such an interesting story. Tell me about your father and your mother. Where was your father originally from?
My father was originally from the town of Lemberg in Czechoslovakia. My mother was from Poland, from the town of Jelička, which was all part of the old Austro-Hungarian Empire.
Now, you said to me that one of the relatives was very wealthy, was very comfortable. From Vienna?
Actually, my maternal grandfather was one of the very few truly successful and wealthy Jews in Poland. And there were some, I guess.
So tell me what happens. It's Kristallnacht, and your grandfather says to your father he should leave Europe.
Close. I was born in 1937 in Vienna. My parents moved to Vienna after they married, and they had a comfortable lifestyle.
What did your father do in Vienna at that time?
He was in insurance, and then he had started a business manufacturing shaving brushes and hairbrushes, actually. And they were having a pretty successful life in Vienna. And then, as you say, Kristallnacht came, and my father realized it was pretty important for us to get out of there. It was not a good place for Jews anymore. So he got papers to come to the United States for the whole family. The process in those days was that the guys would come first, the men would come first and send for the families after established a lifestyle. So he came to the U.S. in a kind of an adventuresome way, but he got to the United States. And by the time, and my mother...
He settles in Philadelphia.
And settled in Philadelphia. And my mother and sister and I went to stay with my maternal grandparents in Poland. And right after we got to Poland, Poland got into the war, and Poland lost the war, and the Germans took it over, and we no longer could get out of there. They appropriated the property that my paternal grandparents owned. My maternal grandmother escaped. My paternal grandfather had passed away. My maternal grandmother escaped to Russia, chauffeured there in their Rolls Royce by their chauffeur. And of course, nobody ever heard from her after that. And we were somehow stranded in Poland.
Now, you had mentioned to me that your mother and your sister looked like they were Aryans, so it was good for them.
Right. So, which was a lifesaver, is that they both had the resources and the looks, because they were both blonde and blue-eyed, to pass for Aryans. And they got Aryan papers. And with those, my mother, sister, and I were able to stay out of not be identified as Jews, and stay out of the ghetto.
Now, you said to me, but even though you did go to the ghetto, you went to the Krakow ghetto, because the rabbi is something?
Right. So after hiding and trying and continually escaping being captured and not having a normal place to live, my mother said, I'd rather go to the ghetto and be with people who aren't chasing me all the time. So because my maternal grandparents were sponsors of the Krakow Rebbe, we stayed at the Krakow Rebbe's home there, and he made us leave.
He said, hey, it's not a place.
It's not such a good place here
But
anymore.
then later on, the Gestapo find you. You said to me that perhaps a housekeeper who was taking care of...
Right, which is kind of a strange story, but we were reported to the Gestapo by a housekeeper or somebody in my mother's household who recognized us in the street, and we were arrested and taken to a prison, my mother, sister, and I, in Krakow called Montelupi. And we were in the prison for a few months, which is a horrible place. And I have teeny little memories of that. And then we were moved from the prison to a concentration camp. And I couldn't get the straight story on which one it was. And we were being processed in the concentration camp. And while we were being processed, the Nazi who was processing us looks up the name, and he says, oh, you people don't belong here. You're American citizens.
So tell the story of how your father was able to work on a birth certificate that your mother was an American citizen.
Yeah, this was an amazing adventure. My father lived in Philadelphia, as you pointed out. And around the turn of the century, there was a fire in Philadelphia that destroyed all the records. So if you could produce a family Bible or some kind of evidence of a birth, you could get a birth certificate. So my father went to a scribe, an old sofer, as they said, and had my mother's name inscribed in a family Bible, and had her marriage to him and the birth of the two children. And with that, my father was able to get a birth certificate for my mother. And with that birth certificate, he was able to identify her as an American citizen.
Her, but not the two of you.
No. But because we were children of American citizens, we were considered American citizens. And with that, he took that citizenship and the evidence that the two of us were with her to the American Red Cross. And the Red Cross registered us as American civilians lost somewhere in Europe.
So on your way to get the tattoo, this is what happens.
That's what happened.
Okay, but then you end up for 2 years in a prisoner of war camp.
Which was a big step up from the alternative, right?
No question.
So we were in a civilian prisoner of war camp called Liebenau, which I believe was in Germany. I'm quite sure. I know it was in Germany. Where I grew up with children from Holland, the Netherlands, and from Britain, and other countries that are part of the Allies.
That's how you were able to learn English, as you said.
And I learned English, I learned Dutch, I learned several languages at that
Which
point.
was great for your later career.
Yeah, that's right.
There was a letter sent to your father from the U.S. government saying that you and your mother and your sister are coming here. We have a picture of that letter.
Right.
You arrive in Ellis Island, and at this time, your father is not in Philadelphia. He decides to go to Washington Heights.
Yeah, so we come back, we come out. They held us in Ellis Island. By the way, the stories you hear about Ellis Island, to me as a child, my sister, was the most wonderful place we were ever in our lives. The first place I had to get ice cream or cakes, and we had a little school there for us, and we were there for a few days because there was a great deal of concern about German spies, but we finally were reunited with my father, and we moved to Washington Heights in uptown New York.
Now, you said to me your father wanted you to get a religious education, and so you started at one yeshiva over there, and that didn't work out, right?
Right. I was not such a well-adjusted young man. So I went to a yeshiva called Breuer's in Washington Heights, which was across the Heights, and I didn't do so well, so eventually
You went to the public
I
school.
went to the public school, PS 189 over there.
But PS 189 was also not the right place for you, so your father found you the Rabbi J.J.
Well, actually, I finished elementary school, and I went to the Yeshiva University High School for 2 years, and again, was not the best place for me. And I ended up in another yeshiva called Rabbi Jacob Joseph School on the Lower East Side, where I finished high school. And
Now, but at this time, the family now moves to Regal Park.
at that point, we moved to Forest Hills, yeah, right next to Regal Park.
You're in Forest Hills, Regal Park. Dad's doing what?
Dad is a garment cutter. Dad was a very, very religious man. He didn't want to do anything which would ever jeopardize his ability to observe the Sabbath. So in spite of being the most brilliant guy I ever met, he ended up working in a factory all his life.
And what jobs did you have when you were going to school?
Oh, I worked all the time. I was a delivery boy. I worked in a soda jerk. I did every kind of conceivable kids' work.
When do you graduate high school?
In 1955.
So it's 1955, and now you go to Queens College. You start at Queens College, right?
I started Queens College. I'm still going to yeshiva, to the Jewish school in the mornings, and I start to get different jobs and doing a variety of different things. And I end up working at a children's center, nursery school, and I end up getting into their summer. They developed a summer day camp, and I ended up running that day camp. So by the time I was 20, I was running a summer day camp.
Right. And at that time, how did you and your buddies get involved with the camp?
Well, so one of the guys
Sleepaway camp.
Yeah, so one of the guys that I met and became friends with was also a camp director, and we had a dream that we could buy a real summer camp, and we found a camp in the Poconos, a wonderful facility that had 400 campers and 200 staff members, and together with some other folks that we knew, we were able to put together a limited partnership, which was one of the early versions of a limited partnership, where we were able to finance the purchase of a summer camp, which we bought when I was about 24.
So you bought the camp, and at this time, what are you doing during the off season?
So in the off season, I end up becoming a Hebrew school teacher, and I was a director of youth activities in Westchester, in Mamaroneck at the Westchester Jewish Center. And I graduated from that into becoming the youth director of the Regal Park Jewish Center,
which is the picture
we have.
Right.
Because I was into social work, I was enjoying the experience of working with young people, and we stayed and did that for quite a while.
So you had the camp, you had the social work. Now, now it's NYU also.
Now, yeah, so I was in NYU, and I had all these other jobs. I ended up getting married to a girl I met in camp, from Philadelphia, by the way. Again, Philadelphia comes back and plays a role in my life. And we ended up having a couple of kids, and she was a high fashion model, cover of lots of these wonderful women's magazines. And with her making enough money, I was able to seek out another work life, which had some greater promise, we thought. And because I developed an interest in real estate, I ended up in real estate.
So you went to work for this famous firm, Cooper Horowitz, and you realized that you had an interest in real estate, but working for Cooper Horowitz was not the forte, and it was unhealthy for you personally.
Right.
Gave you a little aggravation and health problems. And then you said, okay, it's time to leave the real estate business. How do you get involved with the relocation?
Which is a great story, because in real estate, I learned a good deal about real estate. And coincidentally, while I was recovering from being ill, a friend of mine who had moved to California with his family early in his life came back to New York and said, "Where does anybody live?" And he was staying at that time in the old Essex house, costing his company a ton of money. And he said, "There's nobody here to help me." And I thought to myself, well, if there are a lot of people like you, this could be a business. And I ended up starting a relocation company called Metropolitan Relocation Associates, which helped people moving to New York by the corporations find homes. And that catapulted, because at the time I was starting the business, the companies were beginning to move, big corporations were beginning to move out of New York.
Right, one of them was
American Can.
American Can Company.
Right. And so American Can, I realized, was going to Westchester. And what I did was I drove all around Westchester, taking pictures of every apartment house, getting information on every apartment building, and went to American Can Company with a book about all those houses. And I said, I can help all your people find apartments.
And you charge per
person.
Per person who was being relocated.
Right.
At that time. But besides American Can Company, a lot of companies were moving to Westchester, and a number of other companies like Exxon, Texaco were moving down to Virginia. So you parlayed this into a couple of other companies.
Well, that's right. So that business grew, actually, and Texaco and Mobil and Union Carbide and all those companies were clients of ours. But what had happened was that at that point, I met some guys who were consultants in the relocation arena. So, and they would not.
That was Moran.
Moran, Stoll, and Boyer, brilliant guys, wonderful people, and they needed the implementation of. So if they did the consulting on the relocation, they needed somebody to help them implement the moves that the companies eventually made. And I took over that part of their business and merged my company into a division of theirs called Area Consultants, and we started to grow.
What year is this? 81?
No. This is well before that. This started in 1973. We merged companies, and we ran Moran, Stoll, Boyer, and became the most successful company of its type. And I understand some pieces of it are still operating now.
So at that time, Moran is then acquired by Merrill Lynch.
And then in 1988, Moran is acquired by Merrill Lynch. And Merrill Lynch is shortly after that acquired by the Prudential. And so it went from an organization.
Now, why were companies like Merrill Lynch and Prudential buying companies like Moran?
Because we handled corporate relocation. And those companies were at that time establishing residential relocation operations. Residential real estate operations, I'm sorry. And in order to feed listings to their real estate companies, which was the lifeblood, they needed corporate relocation. And we provided them with a great deal of corporate relocation
expertise. You were giving
expertise.
them the leads of companies who were looking for relocations, okay, and they were able to broker apartments or for sales for these people.
Yes, so people were relocating, and so for example, a company like Union Carbide moved, I think, 1,200 or 2,000 people. Mobil Oil did that. They moved to Mobil moved to Virginia. Texaco moved to Westchester. Union Carbide moved to Connecticut.
Right.
And there was lots of real estate selling and buying transactions in that. And so they wanted all those listings, and we could bring those listings to the table.
So that's Moran. What happens next?
Well, so then I'm working with Prudential for a short time, but that doesn't seem to work very well for me. And I leave, and I establish another company called Wyndham International. So while we were at Moran, we started to do international relocations. And we started to do cross-cultural training and for people going on international assignments, how they're going to be successful living and working in another country. So I started Wyndham International because I had a non-compete. All I could do was do destination support and cultural training. So now, and there was nobody who was helping people who moved at that time from one country to another with finding homes in that other country. And there were very different kinds of situations. So we created a company that consulted with people on the cultural side and helped them find housing on the destination side. And that company, Wyndham International, grew, and after 8 years in operation, was sold to GMAC.
Who followed the same rule as Prudential and Merrill Lynch. They went into the relocation business.
Right. So GMAC had a mortgage funding business, and they started to buy real estate operations, residential real estate operations. And they also needed listings, and they needed international aspects.
And when you were there at Wyndham, you and your partner wrote this initial book.
Exactly. That was the initial book that we wrote. Charlene Solomon joined us, and she encouraged me. She says, "Won't be a lot of work." Big lie. And we wrote that first book because it was a chance for me to organize my understanding of what it took to manage global relocations.
Okay, so now you sold that business. GMAC says you got a non-compete also, right? And then how do you start R3?
RW3. So GMAC has a setup. We started to get into online training and web development as part of what we were doing. And GMAC has set up a company called expatspouse.com, because the biggest reason for failure of international assignees is that the families have a difficult time adjusting. So this was a way to help them, to help people adjust in this process. So anyway, we end up, 9/11 happens, and GMAC loses the stomach for the international side and says, you guys are free to do whatever you want to do. So we said, well, at this point, we want to set up an online cultural training company that helps people through the international assignment process, but helps people develop skills to work anywhere in the world. And we create RW3 CultureWizard. And RW3 CultureWizard is a global intercultural training organization that prepares people to be effective when working across cultures. And it happened just at the right time when the globalization trend mushroomed, and people were no longer going just to live abroad, but every one of us was working with people in other cultures.
And that's when the second book came.
And that's when we wrote the second book as part of in that managing across cultures.
Explain to me what's involved with this, okay? Hypothetically, I would move to Dubai. What do you do?
Well,
let's say I'm younger at that time. It's me and my wife, and I have 2 children, okay? I'm moving, I'm leaving my environment. Tell me what you do.
the things that make you successful here will not make you successful there. In our culture, being direct and fast, get it done fast, is a real asset that's really important. In other cultures, it's how nicely you say things, how subtly you can say things, how politely you can say things, and saying it fast and quickly and directly, which is a real value of ours, will get you nowhere. As a matter of fact, it'll offend everybody you're working with. We believe that everybody is created equal. Other cultures don't believe in that level of equality. So there are different aspects, and you need to learn how to recognize the way to interact with other people by the way, and what their values are by their overt behaviors, by the way they generally behave. Those signals will help you recognize what their values are, and if you have a global mindset, you'll know how to quickly adjust your communication so you can be effective with them.
Family. Your wife, Lynn?
Lynn and I met initially when she worked for me at Moran, Stoll & Boyer. And then we were friends at that time. But about 6 years later, after she left the company, we met again. We were reintroduced by a friend. And that's when we decided that we'd get married.
You have 2 sons?
I have 2 terrific sons, Jonathan and Adam. They both live in Los Angeles. Jonathan is married to Angela, and Adam is married to Tracy. And we have 4 grandchildren. Adelaide is the oldest for Jonathan and Angela, and another granddaughter, Gigi. And Adam and Tracy have 2 terrific boys, Asher and Leo.
So it's fortuitous that the Hall of Records burnt down. That was one. And it was shrewd and fortuitous that Dad created a Bible that went to the Nazis, because instead of being in the prisoner of war camp, you might have been a Holocaust survivor.
Or less, or worse.
Or less. Or, as you said, you know, Grandma went in the car, in the Rolls Royce, to Russia and never to be found.
Right.
You were found.
Isn't it a miracle? And you know, there's so many wonderful miracles like that. But the wonderful part about that whole story is that America makes a lot of these things possible.
No question. Thank you for being here today.
My pleasure, Michael. Thank you.